Okay people, today I'm gonna change the coolant of this Ducati 848 Evo. Gonna get the old coolant out, flush it and put the new one in. The reason why do you want to change the coolant is either you have a leak somewhere at the bottom of your bike, the water pump gasket or anything like that, or the overflow and you're losing coolant and it's below the minimum level. Other things why would you lose coolant is you have internally in the engine a gasket leak somewhere, which means coolant is getting in your engine, which is really bad. You can check this by checking the oil color. If the oil color on the oil, let me show you. On the oil, here is the oil check level. It's a glass thing. If this looks milky or a bit white, then probably it's been mixed with coolant, and you should stop riding immediately and get your bike checked up at the garage, or if you can do it yourself, check where it leaks, probably either at the at your head gasket is very likely, or at the water pump internally itself. Those are quite common things. Or your radiator could be leaking, you just be leaking coolant on the floor. For me, why I'm changing the coolant is because I had to take the radiator off and I lost some coolant, so it's running a bit hot, it's below minimum level, so that's why I will be changing it. What you have to be careful for is when you drain all the coolant's either like bluish or pinkish, is to never mix the two. If you want to top it up, make sure you top it up with the right color, because if you top it up with the wrong color, blue with pink for example, after a while those two fluids don't mix well together and they form like some kind of slimy solid thing, which can block up your water pump and do a lot of damage to your bike. So make sure you double check that. That's why you want to flush it with a bit of sterilized water. I don't know what you call it in English. I'm from Belgium, so we call it gedestilleerd water. Stilled water is like what you do when you cook alcohol, something like that. When you make moonshine, okay. Then you still the batter to make like alcohol. So it's the same with water. You can just buy it in a shop. It's quite cheap. Then we flush it, and then we'll add the new antifreeze. I'll choose for a pink solution from Eni called Antifreeze Bike S. The manual says 2.3 liters. We'll top it up from the radiator, let it run up to about 100 degrees, just in idle, and turn the bike off. Wait a bit till the temperature is back down, and then we'll go for a drive, and then we'll check the level at the expansion container and see if we're still below minimum, or we could top it up. From there we'll top it up at the expansion container. Okay, so first what we're gonna do is remove the right hand fairing. Do all these bolts here with numbers. Then from the other side we'll remove the same fairing on the left hand side, and then at the water pump there's a drain hole which will undo, and first start with that. Handy trick is when you open the drain hole is to open your radiator cap or your expansion container cap, so you don't create a vacuum there. Okay, let's start. Okay, now the panels are removed from both sides. So here on the left hand side on this Ducati 848, here is the water pump. You can see the tubes connect to the radiator, so it's quite easy to find. So here at the lowest point you've got the water pump connected to the crankshaft. So crankshaft turns the water pump, pumps water through your radiator into your engine to cool it. and then hot water gets back here and circles around. So this one here, the lowest point on this water pump, is a drain plug. So we're going to remove that one, catch it obviously, to put it away safely, not just in the drain. And then on the other side, on this bike, in between the two cylinders, we have the coolant expansion tank, which according to the manual you can use to refill the bike, but I think it's going to make more sense to refill at the highest point at the radiator. So they built this quite tightly, you cannot open this, so what I'm going to do is unscrew the right hand side of this fairing, or maybe this air connector here, so air goes into the front through this tube over the lid of the radiator to the engine. So what I'm going to try to do is just loosen the air tube. Maybe then I can access it from the top there somehow. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, so the right hand fairing is gone. Remove this piece of black plastic that was there. Now we're going to remove the air duct with these 3 bolts over there. Then you can remove the air duct. It's also a good time to probably check or replace your air filter, or clean it a bit out at least. Once that is removed, we will finally have access to the radiator cap. Hooray! Okay, what you're now going to do is use some distilled water and flush the existing coolant out. We're going to put back our drain plug. You could replace your seal. I don't think it's necessary on this one. Just a flat copper steel, still looking in good shape. So we'll plug this one back in. Then, before we put the coolant in, we're going to clean up the bike a bit. Clean all the drainage, all the old coolant from your bike, clean the floor, make sure everything is dry, just in case when you put the new coolant in and it leaks, you'll see right away. If you leave all the mess around and it starts leaking, you'll have no clue if it's from the old coolant or the new one. Okay. Don't like over tighten it. I should really do this with it. Momentum key, whatever you call that. Let's see if I got one. Okay, you're going to start by adding our coolant, filling it back up through the radiator. So what you want to do is fill it up as maximum as possible, but also slowly, because you want all the coolant to get into the proper tubes and everything. So you just top it up till it's full and then close it off. All the coolant hasn't reached all the tubes yet, the pipes yet. So what you want to do is fill it all the way up, give the bike a little shake, press a bit on the tubes, make sure all the coolant goes in, and you'll see they start bubbling and lowering the level here. So you really want your level to be as high as possible, so your overflow can reach the expansion tank. Once that is full, we can fill it up in the expansion tank. You've got a liter in there. The manual says 2.3 liters. Bubbling is good, means filling up the tubes. Oops, it's getting full. So what we're gonna do now is rock the bike a bit, press the tubes, and we'll see it will start going down. So I'm gonna start by pressing the tubes. Let's listen. Bubbles. That's good. I'm filling up the tubes. We'll keep repeating that process till it's full. Another step you want to do is to get all the old coolant out. Like, first you get the drain plug off, you open your radiator cap, expansion tank cap to drain all the coolant out of your radiator and your tubes, but there will also be some left in the expansion tank. So to get this out, we'll use the tube method. Give it a little suck below the level of the tube itself. And there it goes. Starts draining. Got smell in my mouth. Ugh. Okay, everything is sucked out, I'm sure of that. So what I'm going to do now is pour a small bit of distilled water in the expansion tank, give the bike a little shake, suck it out again, and then we can continue filling. So, not too much. And there we go. Do that one better without getting stuff in my mouth. Yikes. Okay. Some of you might think, why using such a small tube? Big one will go much faster. Yes, that is true. But also, with a big one, you won't be able to get in the deepest point because it's quite a small thing at the bottom. You can get all the way to the end, to the little cracks. Suck the last bit out, and also I do not like to suck things out of. Okay, now that all the old coolant is out of the expansion tank, we're gonna refill the expansion tank. We can check the level here on this bike on the right hand side. There's minimum and maximum. We're gonna fill it all the way up to the minimum, not maximum. Never fill to maximum. That's okay. Now the bike has ran to 110 degrees. The coolant fans came on, which means certainly at that degree the thermostat's been opened. Now we're gonna double check if we need to top up the expansion tank or the radiator, top it up. I've done that yesterday, so I'm sure now all the coolant is cooled down, very important. Do not do this job when the bike's hot. Now we're gonna check and top up the coolant if necessary, put the fairings back on and ready to ride.